I'm Allan Muller, and we are standing at the front gate of a landfill that accepts incinerator ash from garbage that's burned in Red Wing, Minnesota. The city of Red Wing, thankfully, from my point of view, shut down its municipal garbage burner 3 years ago. But Xcel Energy has a much larger burner on the other side of town that is burning garbage, a small amount of garbage, relatively speaking, from Red Wing, but a lot of garbage from Ramsey County, from the city of St. Paul, from Washington County. Red Wing residents are bearing the burden of the pollution that results from that activity without any benefit to themselves. According to the figures that Xcel reports to the Pollution Control Agency, more than 1.5 million pounds of nasty stuff come out of those two smokestacks every year. And that includes, for example, about 70 pounds of lead, which is enough to dumb down a lot of kids. Primarily what's in here is garbage incinerator ash. When you burn 100 tons of garbage, you end up with 20 or 30 tons of ash, which is a fine powder that is full of nasty, harmful materials, and it gets essentially piled up behind where we are standing and a layer of dirt put over it. There is a plan to have a company build a processing facility, dig the ash up, haul it away, and try to remove useful materials from it with screens and magnets and other kinds of devices. And what that means in a practical sense is that the ash would be, after being dumped here, would be hauled somewhere else in about 24 truckloads a day, and people would be exposed to a certain amount of the toxic ash, toxic dust from digging the ash up, from hauling it around in trucks, and from processing it through machinery. In my opinion, there are many reasons why bad things could happen from digging in a landfill. And one of them is that the liner could be broken. Another is that you would have this dug up, exposed surface, and it could increase the chance of water trickling through the ash and getting into the groundwater and contaminating people's wells. So we not only have the potential path for airborne contamination from the dust, but we also have potential increase in groundwater contamination. So from a sensible point of view, the thing to do with the ash is leave it alone and not mess with it. The most important thing for people to do is to communicate with their city council members and let them know that they do not want this project. The official figures tell us, nobody has to take Allan Muller's word for it. This is a bad thing to be happening in our city. This is something to shut down rather than something to increase. This facility used to burn coal. Since the mid-1980s, it's burned garbage, and it burns a small amount of garbage from Red Wing and large amounts of garbage from the city of St. Paul, from Ramsey County, and from Washington County. And although you can't see on a nice day like today anything coming out of those smokestacks, the truth is that on the order of 1.5 million pounds a year of very nasty stuff comes out. And it has an effect on the health and quality of life of those of us who live here. Minnesota Pollution Control Agency issues air emission permits that are good for 5 years. However, the permit for this burner has been expired since June of 2009, and the great majority of all the air permits and the water permits and the solid waste permits in Minnesota are expired. So, and if you want to dig into it a little more, you see that if this burner was built new today, it would have to comply with much stricter emission limits than it does. So it's an old, dirty facility, and when I'm king of the world, it'll have to be shut down.